Let's see what that does. I don't know. Is that live or not? Or it's maybe I need to watch a video on all this, right? It should say ultra latency, ultra low latency. Ooh, we got video. It's not an abomination or abortion or whatever you want to call it. Don't want to get anybody in trouble. I'm going to say nothing I shouldn't say. Let's see the delay. All right. Let's see how bad of a delay we have now. I do see it's so weird now the way you got to do this junk. And then mess with OBS and I need to do like a private stream just to like my phone and see how this works and play with it without embarrassing myself. But I've already done that, so why not, right? Let's do it again. All right. So we've got a whole 6 people. Somebody say something, and as soon as on the chat, as soon as I see it pop up, then y'all can kind of know how long the delay is, and maybe we don't see too bad. Something is what Jim just said. And then we'll see kind of how, yeah, then Brant's saying something and pop up. But y'all can kind of see how the delay is while we let people roll in here. So hopefully it's better because I like to talk to you guys. And that whole 1 minute, it just felt like I was doing a video and then it was not unable to edit it. And that was just a mess. Hopefully, and it says ultra low latency at the bottom. So I'm hoping it is and not going to drive y'all nuts or really drive me nuts with the stuff. So, all right. Let people roll. Yeah, it's weird. It says, yeah, there are only 4 people in here, but whatever, right? That's fine. So weird. I gotta mess with that more. Okay, so the backup size, it's a 1 megabyte file. Let me see. Let me make a new folder right quick. Let's close Termite. And we'll close Tasmotizer. Let me show you what it did. And I'm making another folder because I have no idea. I just randomly throw crap in here. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not showing the... So this is what it did. I saw it made the 2 backup files. And I see it downloaded that 567K file. I'm sure I blew it up with the... I'm not seeing the notification either. I've got like 10 from from Doc, but I'm not seeing... I don't know if there's anything on mine. Edit. Oh, it shows unlisted. Public. Save. Oh! That's probably why. But did it probably send notifications? Probably not. So we'll just have... so you can see as a bin file will control, if you flash a 4 megabyte bin file backup 4 megabyte. Okay. So is it you checking the... let's see. Did it send out? There it goes. We're learning this thing, man. We're going to learn it together. You're skeptical. I'm just trying to think if I have something that has... Yeah. Sorry about that, Will. I did not know the blue live stream pill. I did not know. First, I had two things. You have to release it, and then when I released it, I didn't have it as public, and it was unlisted, and so it worked in Discord, but didn't send out the notification, and whatever. Stupid YouTube stuff changes, right? And failure to adopt. We'll just say that failure to adopt. So I will. Let's see. Today's Thursday. I gotta work tomorrow. But I will do a little private live stream to myself and see. Yeah, if I download based on the bin, it needs to be fixed. Okay. What's really in that cup? It's actually just unsweet tea. So that's all that's in there right now. What a mess. Maybe we'll just delete. Well, no, maybe let's leave these various live streams up so people can laugh at them when they wake up in the morning, right? The mess they were. So. Yeah, that's kind of what I would think that, because I still have it in there. Let's see. I think it was COM 22. ESP tool Pi. I think it's like COM, or is it port or something? I think it does auto detect. You can do flash ID is like what I'd like to do. Yeah. So I guess I was hoping that it would do this for you, but I guess the problem is when you do that, is that going to make the person have to, reset the device and hold down GPIO 0? I know I'm using the Wemos D1 Mini, so it just can trigger and reset by itself just without having to do the flash mode. But it's like if someone's doing a Sonoff Basic and they're holding the wires in there, they're going to have to go through the flash dance again by unplugging and holding the button and doing again to just get the flash size. So that, because that's what I do is I go through and I do now before I pull one, I make sure and do I do the flash size first. So. But I wonder if you can do that in just one step. You can grab the flash size, do the backup, and roll. That's my wonder. So. Okay. We have a whole. Oh, we got 22 now. Unsweet tea. Is that an oxymoron? I guess it's sweet tea, but has the nasty cancer-causing Splenda stuff in it. Seems like every day that you want to change the different sweeteners. So there's always issues with them, but that's a whole nother debate we won't get into. So I know I probably dumped off everybody that wanted to do anything else. I did want to do unsweet tea. You're no Southerner. It's called Too Much Sugar. I did want to do a giveaway at one point, but I had some light bulbs from Sansi LED, but I don't think there's any external. They're ESP32 inside. I don't think there's any external API for them. And they're kind of a weird looking thing. And they sent them to me. I was just gonna give them away, but then I couldn't even pair them. And here's the bulb. It's actually has like a ceramic disc that the LEDs sit on top of, and then the Wi-Fi antennas up top. And there's actually ESP32 in here, but it's all coated in this black, like almost like tar stuff. So, but I couldn't even get it to pair for some reason in the app. I don't know why. And I tried multiple times and tried with multiple SSIDs and still nothing. So, we just won't mess with those for now. So yeah, sweet tea and there's nothing else. How about we just go with the better? I'll go with the better tea, the Long Island iced teas. That's the better iced tea for me. That's really probably what I need after this. I don't know what's a good term for it. This mess of the live stream stuff. So, it's sweet. Look at that, DIY in a ghetto. I love it. I love it. I love it. Can't super chat for some reason. I don't know if there's no way to turn that on or turn that off for some reason. I have no idea. I don't think it lets me super chat myself. So, I don't know. So, last thing I was wanting to mess with was, I know, and we're kind of switching. Well, before we do that, before we switch gears off of Tasmota, I know we always have a lot of Tasmota stuff, or how should I say it? Tasmota. The crap. No. Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, but you definitely. I would definitely call it the crap show. So yeah, but apparently I don't feel too bad. I see. Oh, thanks, Gary. Thank you, Gary. I don't want to spill my email, but this is what my email shows right here. Let's see. This is what my email shows on notifications. So I don't feel too bad. So. And they learn how to do it. Rules up. Thank you all for your hard work. I appreciate it. Definitely. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. So that's one thing I'm working on. I'm working on the video for, I installed, I'll just go ahead and give it away, is I'm put a iFan 03 and I'm using 2 dimmers, because it's a 3-way configuration, and I'll say it's a long time coming to do it, because I've been struggling with a way to do this setup, because I have power comes in one box, goes to the other box, and then goes to the fan. And I was I wanted an iFan 02 or 03, now it's 03. So I had to change the capacitors in it. And actually I mounted the iFan 03 in the actual fan, they call it the rose, I guess, or that pan, the top of it. And I got pictures and stuff, and I'll show all that. But I control it using. Hey, thanks, Jim. Hey, y'all just definitely showing the love today. I appreciate it. So definitely, I guess it didn't turn out to be a crap show. So I was showing the 2. I'm using 2 Martin Jerry dimmers, but the cool thing about it is I'm controlling the 6 downlights I have with the dimmers on both sides, and then using long press actions controlling the actual iFan 03, and each dimmer shows the status, whether it's medium, low, medium, or high speed, as well as you can still use the wireless 433 megahertz remote that comes with the iFan. So yeah, Will, no problem. I mean, I know I do appreciate everybody, and it's not a requirement or anything. I know some people like to do donation, and that's, hey, I appreciate it. A doc moment on privacy. So I do appreciate it and everything. And if you don't always have to do, if you can't, that's fine. I say just like the video, share them or whatever, and hey, help somebody out. That's all we ask. That's all, it's just, you may know something somebody else doesn't know, and on Reddit or Facebook or whatever forums or Discord, help somebody out. I mean, take a few minutes, and because everybody's new at one time, and just help somebody out. Hey, Desert, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I won't be too hard. I'm too much of a perfectionist on things, especially with some of the deals. But so do we have any Tasmota questions before we jump in? So I'm trying to do that one before Christmas along with another one. So and still trying to fit another live stream in and then also do work stuff on the weekends too. So it's fun. So I've been messing around with the. Oh, hey, thanks, Will. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I've been messing around with the. I know everybody has saw the video back in July back with the power monitoring. When will HA have an official Shelly integration? I don't know about that. I would just say I'm mostly flashing them, but so. But I wanted to show what I thought was cool. I bought these from the guy that John. I want to say it is John. I'm probably screwing his name up. I screw everybody's name up. Fam starting to arrive for the holidays. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you hanging out. And everybody do show your appreciation and definitely drop, and don't bombard him too much. But Mike does an amazing amount of work on the wiki and helping out in the various Discord channels and helps support things. So he's definitely spends a lot of time helping out a lot of Tasmoto users and keeping the wiki going for everybody. So, and he does a lot of work on the wiki. So definitely, if you have a chance to see Mike out there, and hit him up and tell him thanks for all his work on the wiki and whatnot. And he's not the only one, but I just wanted to say, he's leaving and go head out with the fam. So, but back on the power monitoring, I remember John was showing, and I wanted to order these. Look at Jim. So I know everybody saw the dryer project, and I'm showing this, just in my size of my hand. This was, of course, the little split core transformer. And sometimes you don't have a lot of room in the breaker box, and you're just trying to monitor, because what I do is I monitor in the US is you've got 2 split phases coming in. And so I use 2 of these on each phase. And then I wanted to use other circuits, and those just have a small, 12 or 14 gauge wire on them. And that's a big device to throw on a wire. And well, he had these made, and look how small these things are. And just to show you in relation, here's a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack that goes on them. And they're super small, and they fit. And it's just nuts, the size of John. There you go. So I had it right. I was trying to think it was JON for some reason. I'm so spoiled by in Discord by just doing @ and typing his name, and it pulls up. So, but let me see a piece of Romex right quick. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to bump the mic 10 times. Yeah, and Blackadder does a lot of stuff with the template, and he does a lot of stuff on the wiki as well. Thanks for reminding me on that, Jim. All right. So this is 14 gauge, and you can see how it fits. You could actually fit 2 14 gauges inside these if you wanted to. And I know that white is blowing out the camera lens, but I thought it was very cool. You could stack. So that's been one of the problems of trying to stack a lot of those in. And I know John had those up on his website, and I was like, ooh, before he sells out, I want 6 of them. So I went and bought 6 of them from him. I think you can order these from AliExpress, but they don't come with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on them. And of course, you can buy the adapters and put them on yourself, but it makes it super simple. You can just plug them in to the device. And these also are the 25 milliamp outputs, so you don't need to cut the burden resistor on the back. So, yeah. So I know he had them up on his website. Let's see, circuit setup. Let me put the screen. I wonder if he's actually sold out of them or not. No, here they are. Yeah. So it's just 20 amp, and he's got 88 in stock. So here's a link for you. So, and no, I don't make anything off of the stuff that John does. Full disclosure, he did send me I originally bought the 2-channel from him way back when I was on, I saw it first on Reddit, and I had to have it. And then I started bugging him about doing more, and I think he already had that in the works of doing more channels. And I kind of had just like, well, hey, let's do the 2 phases and say the dryer. And I think he just took it full bore and had a better idea of doing the 6-channel with the stackable boards and stuff. So, there's the Christmas special. So if you want to see the Christmas lights, you can probably see my Christmas lights in about 10 seconds. It's at the tail end of the video on that Lohas one. So, but yeah, so I thought those things were very cool. And cause I wanted to put in, I wanted to do a 12-channel in mine. It's $100. I just can't do it. Yeah. I understand that. And hey, it's Christmas. You can do other things with your money, right? So another thing that on the power monitoring board is, of course, I know some people, I didn't have this originally to show, was the stackable one. And this is for setting the different pins. And I think John's actually another Pennsylvania guy. I know there's lots of Pennsylvania guys. But you can there's 6, so this does 12 channels. But I wanted to show, there was a complaint. I wouldn't say complaint. There was a question by many. And I know, I'm glad a lot of people actually brought it up. If I don't remember to switch the things, you guys definitely tell me. This is the development version. We were assuming the power factor was always 1. So we were doing a volts times amps to give it, volts times amps to get the watts. Well, that's not always true when we're trying to figure out the kilowatt hours and everything. Well, the new developer version if you look at the development branch of Esphome, oh my God, you just saw my secret Wi-Fi password, right? Wi-Fi pass. Yeah. I made sure all this was using secrets. You'll notice now that there's some new commands that John did a pull request into Esphome. Is now you can actually get the power factor. You can get the reactive power. You can get the actual wattage from the device, and the current, voltage, and as well as you can get the chip temperature. So the temperature of the actual, this ATM, I'm going to butcher it, ATM0932AS, I believe is the chip. Now you're going to be wondering now. ESP32, where's it at? ATM90E32AS. That was close. Very close. So, but now you're letting the, if we can get it to refresh on us. Is it even up? I may have to restart it. Another thing that might have issues, right? Because I was messing with it earlier. There we go. And we need to turn on, I have a 60-watt light bulb. Give me 1 second. Otherwise, I don't want to holler out and yell at the voice assistant that is going to be on Charlie. We'll turn that on. All right. Now we got light on the other side of me. She should see, there you go, should see it update. And I just want to show that this is actually, I did calibrate it the other day. The voltage via the 9-volt adapter. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll show you a couple things too. So I want to show that you can actually see, here's that power factor of 0.99, which is, this is a 60-watt old school incandescent light bulb that I use the same light bulb to like calibrate a lot of my power monitoring plugs, just because it makes it pretty easy. But you can see it pulls the power factor, and it is pulling the watts by itself and not calculated off of the volts and the amps. So I'm curious. Let's throw in, give me 1 second. I want to see before this bulb gets too hot on me. Let's throw in a LED bulb right quick. Give me 1 second. Not prepared, but I wanted to see what it shows on the power factor for a LED bulb, 0.58, which I was expecting different on this that little LED bulb. Hey, I appreciate it, Foxstang34. Thank you, sir. So back to, and basically, yeah, I appreciate it, Frederico. You hanging out? So back to the, I haven't edited this all the way through. I'm going to go through and copy all of this, because before, and you can see, I think I commented it out. We were doing the amps and then multiplying by the volts, which that does work if you have a device that's a power factor of 1, and which not all devices are. And it's just not, you're going to get your wattage is going to be too high. And then you're going to also end up with a kilowatt usage. If you're doing a kilowatt hour usage, you're going to end up with too high. So this gives you a real calculated value. So I'm going to go through and go fix up the YAML. And I'm going to do the 2 YAML files, one with the single board and then one with the add-on board. And then once you do the second add-on board, I know some people have done like 3 or 4 add-on boards. And once you do those other ones, then you can go ahead and just, you kind of know, then you can just copy and paste and go from there. So the question on, and one thing that is important, I know he changed something not long after I posted the video in July. I'm gonna unplug this so we don't burn up perfectly good board. So it does, and we're trying to get this without glare on it. Let me get my focus up right quick. And we'll zoom in. We'll put the camera a little closer and try to stabilize it. Otherwise, you'll look like y'all on the Titanic about to sink. So on on your ESP32, just plugs in. And I know somebody else has said this. Don't see this little white peg. If you do, don't ever remove that. Just don't, because then you're going to end up putting it and slide all your pins down, and you probably going to end up smoking your ESP32. And you got one of those iota watt. Yeah, I think those use a different power monitoring chip. These use hey, definitely, I appreciate it, Callie. Yeah, basically, if we can zoom in, let's zoom in a little closer, because we're looking at the question of the power adapter. And I know this is on an arm, and it's very... There we go. So if y'all can see that now. So do you see that JP 8 and JP 9? Those are very important. If you don't have those soldered together on your model, what that does, because there's 3 channels per chip. And what I mean, there's 3 channels per chip. Let me pop this off of here. And focus this again. On the Atmel chip, there's 2 of them on here. And these are, I've commented about them before on the video. It's crazy the amount of accuracy you can get out of those chips. They're truly, I would say, industrial type, power monitoring chips. And I was really impressed with it. I could even, when I showed in that video where I had like a 100 amp clamp and I was measuring the dimmer going back and forth, and changing less than an amp, and it was picking them up. So it's high resolution. For every add-on board, there's 2 of these. Now they're designed for a 3-phase, and I don't want to confuse that, but just kind of think of them, there's 3 channels. So that's where the 3 channels come from. You've got the 3 channels on this side, and you got the 3 channels on this side. Smoking, is that? Yeah, sometimes it is, because it's hard to put that magic smoke back in there. So that's why each board, so you've got the three channels on the left and 3 channels on the right. And you've got 2 of the Atmel chips. Well, then the add-on board, let me pop the ESP32 off of here. So, of course, the add-on board looks very similar. You're adding on 2 more Atmel chips. And so that brings in, 6 more channels. So that's going to give you 12. And I'm trying to remember how many you can stack. I want to say he said you could stack. I want to say it was like 48 channels. So was that probably 6? I know math is hard. You can put on up to 6 add-on boards to monitor 42 channels. So so it adds in. And now the way he does why you say it's weird, what's weird is, same thing with this one, you want to, the voltage gets brought across. And some people, you're like, well, why are we using a AC voltage adapter? Let me just put this back on the back again. It uses the AC voltage to get as a reference, and I'm gonna really dumb this down into, I'm not any type of electrical AC engineer. There's probably some folks here that know much more about AC power than I do. And so definitely feel free to chime in. I'm probably going to say some stuff wrong. I'm just going to dumb it down to the way I know it. So it uses that AC voltage as reference, but it needs it for AC. So it's just bringing that voltage down, and you're from the transformer, and then you're bringing the gain back up to whether you're 120 volts or 220 volts, and then that's the reference it uses. So it does. I've actually taken the voltage that comes out of there and monitor it versus because you got the swings from during the day, especially during the summer when you have a lot of air conditioners running on the grid, and you'll dip down on voltage and then come back up at night. And so you definitely need a AC voltage, and you will need to calibrate your voltage based off of your adapter. And so it's very important, especially if you're going to be doing the new settings where it calculates the wattage itself. You definitely want to make sure you get your voltage on and your amperage pretty close, and that way you can get some good calculations. So it's crazy like I said, crazy with the resolution on this thing. But of course, you can just stack them, and I know he shared. I'm just putting this back together. I'll put it back together when I was off stream. He did share. I know one of the things in Discord, he shared a Gerber file, not Gerber, but I guess the sketch of it, the Gerber file. He's actually has in the works. I don't know when it's coming out, but one of the issues is, of course, you're wanting to put the ESP32. I don't know of any ESP32s in this type that have an external antenna. Well, one of my problems is if I put this in the metal breaker box, then of course it's like a big Faraday cage, and my breaker box is pretty far from one of the access points, so it would have issues getting a Wi-Fi signal. Like I had that issue with doing the Shelly EM inside my breaker panel. So what he's coming up with is he's going to have a small board, and think of it as a small board with a bunch of these 3.5 millimeter plugins. And then he's using, I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was micro HDMI as a cable, as kind of like I was calling it the umbilical cord from that board to one of these boards. And that way you wouldn't have to drag out, say, if you've got like 3 boards, well, you're trying to drag out 3 times 6, you got 18 wires coming outside of your breaker panel and trying to plug into there, and it just makes it really simple. It's basically, it uses a fraction of that. Yeah, you're right. That's a better explanation. It uses a fraction of the voltage. But then you'd mount that small board inside the breaker panel, and then you just have that one little mini HDMI cable come out and go to the power monitoring board. That you would mount, like say, in a case outside of it, and that way you could, whether you want to put it like in a plastic case, and that way you'd have, wouldn't have issues with Wi-Fi coming from that. So, it's actually not a lot of, given it is an ESP32. Yeah, that's the thing and I think that's another problem is if you start stacking all these boards, it can get pretty high. I mean, just for relations of my big head, I mean, I guess I said I wasn't going to put this back together, but we'll do it now. Make sure it's the right way. I mean, you could start to stack these things. I'll put it right here. Stack them pretty high, and then you wouldn't be able to fit that in the breaker panel. I'd be too worried about it touching anything else. Doc is off to see Star Wars. Okay. Maybe we'll grab some peeps over there. So, yeah. Buffer, really? I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So, definitely some good changes out of the power monitoring board. It's still one of my favorite things. Yeah, it looks like a pie cluster, and it definitely probably does look like a cluster as well. So, but that's kind of I wanted to do. I'm gonna probably do a little update on it, and we'll do. Oh, one thing I did forget. One thing I did forget is, let's see what this one is. So here's a prime example. If you'll notice on this split core, it is a 1 volt output. And on this one, it's a 25 milliamp output. If you use the milliamp outputs, as I did mention it there, you're fine. You can just plug them in. But let's see if we can get right down on this little section here. Is the, if you using a CT sensor that have a burden resistor built in, meaning if they have a 1 volt output, then you do need to sever the trace. See the JP5, JP6, and if you can see, there is a little, let's see if we can get really close to it and make y'all really sick, right? I'm trying to hold it steady somewhat, but I'm doing not had the most steady hands ever. You can see there is a little on that one on JP6, and that's the reflection just looks weird. It's actually, it is normal solder, but it looks like it's black on the thing. But you have to take and cut that little trace because you don't want double burden resistors. And of course, if you do, I love how he did put the 2 pads, where if you do switch back to using a milliamp output as split core transformer, then you can just put a dab of solder on and connect those traces again. And then it does have the burden resistor. So, and without saying, oh, we're definitely going to drive y'all nuts now. When you're messing with this stuff, you can end your life quickly, very easily, because in the top of the breaker box, in the top of the main breaker, the only way, unless that in my particular setup, the only way that I can kill those mains would be go outside and actually pull the meter off the meter pan. So you've got electricity right there. Now, if you just adding stuff to the bottom of the breaker panel and you know what you're doing, hey, that's fine. And just as long as you know what you're doing, if not, go hunt you up a electrician friend or something like that, help you put some clamps on. And usually someone will do it, especially if you're bringing money. Yeah, so just be careful about what you can and can't cut off. Always assume it's hot. So, yeah, now talking about, I saw some stuff about the DIN rails. I always see those pictures of all those DIN rails and all those cool breakers. That is very cool. I wish we had a lot of those different, looks like very simplified type of setups. In the breaker panels in the U.S. just seem so archaic to me. They haven't really changed a whole lot. I mean, we've added different types of breakers, but yeah. It's, and I saw something the other day. Someone was saying, "Hey, I need to get more comfortable working around mains electricity." You should never. Another comment was never get comfortable where you should always be nervous of it and always be nervous that it's on. And I know I do. Yeah, that's a good. I haven't seen those screw-in fuses, so yeah. My panel I have is 125 amp, but I'm also an all gas house. The only thing I have high draw voltage is going to be the outdoor compressor for the air conditioner. So everything else is gas. So, but so just pulled them out of his garage recently. Yeah, exactly. Not nervous? Then you should probably do something else. I know it even with I put the clamps on mine, and I actually I put them on actually with some thick gloves and made sure I was not touching anything, but I still couldn't get them exactly right. And just so happened that, and I was still nervous about it. Just so happened a tree fell on a lines down the street. And I talked to one of the guys, and he said, "No, they're going to be like 3 or 4 hours because it did this and that and everything." So actually, it was a good opportunity, and I fixed my clamps. But I was still nervous of putting those clamps, even with dead power, knowing, hey, someone could backfeed the grid somehow or whatever. So, but so is there gas to MQTT something out there? Maybe MQTT is not a good thing, right? So, trying to think what else I had planned. Just had a couple things I was gonna show, but we showed the little PCB way little ornaments, and I was actually shocked. The wife wanted to put those on the. Yeah, that's that the generator backfeed. Yeah, that's based on all the hurricanes it seems like we have one every 3 or 4 years, and we always hear about just some issues with generator backfeed, and that causing fires, or worse comes worse, I don't know why, and people will put their generators inside their house and then close the doors. So and of course, all the carbon monoxide issues, you always seem like you hear somebody, unfortunately. So, oh, cool. So if you missed out, I don't want to, let's see, what did I do with those? Again, this ain't a commercial for them. They did not pay me anything to put these on. Of course, I can show the green one, right? It looks like it's clear. I still think these are cool. I'm gonna put them on the tree. Now, I just need some sort of automation for them, right? I thought they were kind of cool with the little lights going back and forth. Have you looked at or tried CAN bus type meters? I haven't messed with those. I know maybe someone would have to school me on those, or something that some bathroom reading at one point, right? Let me make sure. All right. Okay. Yeah, I've actually seen a. So somebody didn't say I'm advertising just constant for them. So there we go. Even though they're cool, I like their little cool ornaments. I appreciate it, Will, hanging out for the crap show, as someone else said, which I do agree with them. We pulled the nose up at the end, right? Yeah, there was actually, I saw lightning hit. A cool little story is I know I've mentioned it before. I worked for UPS as a technician for several years, and a lightning actually hit our building and welded the. I want to say it was three-phase power we had in that building, and it was like, don't quote me, and it's like 400 amps or something like that. I know the breaker panel was massive. And it welded the breaker actually closed. So you could not turn the breaker on. I mean, disconnect the building. And we probably had, I want to say we had like around 30 computers in it. And I can tell you, this is what my firm believer in battery backups. And all the blinking's going to drive me nuts. And probably everybody else. all the computers that were not on battery backups smoked every single one of them. Smoked from different power supply. I had power supply issues. I had motherboard issues. I even had memory chip. It was just all various types that lightning came in and smoked all those computers if they were not on a battery backup. I had there was 3 servers in one rack, and then another rack had 2 other servers, and then another computer had a battery backup. Every single one that was on, and we used all APC battery backups. Every single one that was on battery backups lived, but every single APC battery backup was dead. One of them was funny, even years after. It was one of those shoebox style battery backups that kind of went on the counter, like a 1500 VA. And it had vents on the side of it. And it actually, the battery inside blew up. And it actually shot battery acid and soot out of the grid. And it made a perfect grid on the wall where it shot out all the black soot from the batteries and probably carbon and whatever else was inside the lead acid battery. And they even tried to clean the wall off of it. It was like that plastic kind of Formica type wall to protect, the stuff on the counter, and instead of using sheetrock, kind of, and I guess cheap backsplash, being in a commercial building. But it was definitely so nice replacing those battery backups, and I did not have to rebuild those servers. That would have been crazy. But I forgot where I was going with that story with the lighting. Oh, you're talking about the backfeed, and we actually couldn't get. We had no power in the area either because they had hit a massive hit to the grid, but we needed to run packages that night. So they had already had a big generator come over there, and we wanted to hook the generator up and directly to the panel and disconnect us from the grid where we wouldn't backfeed. And we waited and waited probably for like 2 or 3 hours. I think finally one of the managers said, "Look, we're hooking the breaker up and we're going to backfeed the grid." And they called the utility company and said that. And it was like 10 minutes. There was like 3 trucks pulling up, and they disconnected us from the grid. So I know the backfeed thing is a huge issue with those guys. So if you hook up a generator, don't backfeed the grid. That's just a little long PSA story. So, but yeah, it definitely. And I've been a firm believer in battery backup since then. It definitely, I know it saves devices from the lightning hits. So, but definitely give them some breathing room on the battery backups in case the caps explode and everything. So, yeah, and that's, I know you know how many battery backups. Man, if you can find people getting rid of the battery backups all the time, because and the only thing is typically wrong with them is the battery, and you replace the battery. I've got so many battery backups that I've gotten for free from people or various places, whether it be Craigslist or if you want to dare messing with Craigslist sometimes, Facebook Marketplace, and you can pick up these battery backups that are dead and just go replace the batteries on them, and boom, you've got a great battery backup. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they do have issue. I'm just not too familiar with how the wiring of the solar stuff is. So, but yeah, I had issues with my power when I was trying to print that solar device, that solar weather thing, and we had power that was really really windy, and I ended up putting a APC on my 3D printer as well. So, well, if nobody else has any other questions, we'll definitely call it a night. I still got work in the morning. I got to get up in about 6 hours, so I'm not doing too bad. Give me a little wind down, and I'll have to mess with doing a actual live stream and get with all the new changes and go through all the stuff. I'll mess around doing a little live stream just to me. What is my day job? Actually work in a looking for fraud in a fraud department and doing data analysis and app support and doing SQL stuff. What else? I'm not technically in IT. I had to leave the whole IT thing as it was, that's a long story. It gets very political. So, but I'll call myself the power user. So, so I don't take care of the actual server being stood up, but all the software that runs on it and all the data that comes in and out of it, and looking for doing data analysis and a lot of reporting and stuff. So, and writing little custom launch pages and scripts and etc. So, oh wow, start at 1.5. Yeah, well, drop the cover off. All right, Trady, I appreciate it, and thank you, everybody. Maybe we'll try to sneak in another one because I do have a couple days off here, and maybe we'll try to sneak in a day one or something with the the 5-year-old. Maybe we'll pop in. Hopefully, I'll hold him back. He loves to be on the camera and see himself though. So, but all right, guys, I appreciate it, and y'all take care.